Good evening. My name is Scott Wells. Thank you guys very much for being here. I'm the magician here to magish for you. So just be glad I'm not a wizard. I'm going to try something a little bit different. We're going to start from the ground up with just a few cards. Your name is Stephanie. Yes. Pleasure to meet you, Stephanie. My name is Scott. And Allison, thank you very much for joining me over here at the table. We're going to begin by just using a few cards. We're going to use 4 cards, and all 4 cards are the very same. Makes them easy to follow if they're all the same. In other words, they're all ace of diamonds. There's 1 ace of diamonds. We have 2nd ace of diamonds, a 3rd ace of diamonds, and finally there's 4th ace of diamonds. We'll turn these all upside down one at a time, give them a little bit of a twist. So the first card turns upside down like that. Give it another little twist, and the second card turns upside down. And then finally that 3rd and final twist, and the last card turns upside down. You see that's all 4 cards like that. Stephanie, open your hand a moment. You see I only use 4 cards. There's 1. There's 2, 3. Are just those 4 cards. You see, that's how that works. It's so much easier if you know what I mean over that too. So anyhow, since we've started with just a few cards, and we'll kind of again move our way up. So I have a full deck of playing cards over here, and since you guys are handy, we're going to start with just a few. And you get to help. I want you to use your left thumb, if you would please, Allison. That's the one that's right above your left leg. Makes it easy. Just kind of pull the cards back right like that, and just kind of stop. Let the people on that side of the audience see the card. You guys got it? The important thing is to remember the card. I used to say just look at a card, and it didn't make any sense because some people would say, okay, you didn't tell me to remember it. You said look at it. So, if you would also, then Stephanie, just say stop. We'll make it easy. Just say stop someplace. Stop. Right about there. Got it? I want you, the guys over there, you see that card?
We got it.
Okay, the important thing is remember your card, remember yours, because I want to see if I can locate your card. Just like that, by turning it upside down. Now here's an interesting thing. Your card, I'm going to guess, and I don't know, it's only a guess, it's probably a red back card. Just a guess. So far, so what? But the other side is what's important. That's also the only one that happens to be the 6 of spades, exactly like yours. Kind of, what was your card, by the way?
6 of spades.
You're kidding. The same card that Allison had. You had the 6 of spades and also this had. No?
No.
Did you see it? It was a 6 of spades, right? What was your card?
5
The 5 of what?
5 of spades. Oh.
5 of spades. Makes it so much easier.
All right.
Yeah, okay. All right. Come on, Zen applause. 1 hand clapping. I've been under a lot of
Give her
pressure.
snaps.
The doctor said take my pressure regularly. Anyhow, I want you, if you would please, just have you sign the card, if you would, Allison. Just right there, if you'll just put your name on the card, along with your social security.
That's not your name.
Credit card numbers?
Horrible identity thief. Not very good. And so, let me explain. You see that it's going to go right about over there. That makes the card unique. In other words, there is no other cards exactly like that that happens to have your signature on. It's kind of like my hometown. I come from a very small town that's unique, coming from the Latin word uni meaning one and equus meaning horse. Very small town. Anyhow, so Stephanie, I just keep moving on, okay? So you guys, if you catch up, that's fine. Stephanie, I want you just to touch a card. Do you think it might be the same card that she had signed a while ago? Just touch one. Which one? This one? Would that be amazing if it happened to be the very same card that she signed? Would that be cool or what?
Yes.
Yes? It's not, but you're right. That would have been cool. Wow, that would have been so cool. We could have stopped right there. You know, that would have been such a cool trick. I tell you what, just this way that you don't feel disappointed, I'm going to have you sign the card then too. So if you'll just take the pen, I'll set down your drink just a second over there. I'll take the safety off so it's loaded. Be careful. I'm going to have you sign. Make my job even easier. I'm going to have you just to sign the back of the card. Just sign right there, and then put today's date. I believe it's what is 12/21. End of the world.
End of the world.
tonight. Hey, glad my friends could join me over here. You know, it's kind of interesting that not so long ago, just a few weeks ago, you know, it was 12/12/12, which is National Sound Check Day. Do you know that? You know where you just say testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. You get the idea. Sign the card then, and you can sign one then as well. The important thing is you see whenever the fish swim in a stream, sometimes they're in the same school, such that they are next to each other. Other times in the same classroom, they happen to sit next to each other. The same thing whenever you shuffle cards. Sometimes you shuffle cards actually that they're they're in different parts of the deck, and other times they coalesce such that they're next to each other. However, in this particular case, since you guys are seated at the same table and signed a couple of different cards, perhaps the cards may have come close to each other, unless the card disappeared and went back inside the card box.
It's a hint, T.
It didn't, but I'm saying it
What was he called?
Man, that would have been so cool. No, it's right over there. You see? That's your signature then, 7? Right next to another card, which happens to look very close, like the one that Allison had signed right there. How about that?
That's pretty awesome.
Now, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go a step further. We're going to show you. One more time, kind of get a little bit of a twist right here, and like this, just kind of taking the signature off the back of your 3 and leaving it on the back of that.
That's awesome. That's cool.
A little bit different over there, yes, indeed. Keep that as a souvenir then, too.
Give it to Stephanie. I have the other one that he did last weekend for us. Actually, in my wallet. Can you see it?
Well, I tell you what, see, it's a keeper. It's a souvenir. So, I'm going to have you help me then again, if you would. I want you just to say stop. And then I want you to say stop right there. Excellent. Just take the card. Take a look at it. Don't show it to me, but you can show it to a few other people over there. Let me explain that cards actually are just a lot like a gallery. If you happen to go to an art gallery or something, you know, you see some beautiful paintings. Sometimes they're more regal than others. You know, some are more abstract, you know, perhaps. But there are a lot of times when you go to a gallery, of course, they're painted by the same painter. In this particular case, they were all by the U.S. Playing Card Company. But I have been collecting some of the classics of arts down through the years, and I'm going to show you just a few of my favorites. In fact, in order to set the stage, because you guys look like an art-loving group. This right here. This, you see, this is the Mona Lisa. And the Mona Lisa, of course, was painted by Leonardo da Vinci, and you're familiar with the Da Vinci Code, I guess, Allison?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the code he used when he painted, it's paint by number. It was the Da Vinci Code. Anyhow, this was another one, that's Rene Magritte. Now, Magritte was a surrealist painter, 1920s, Belgian painter, kind of after Salvador Dali. That was a picture of his son he painted, who was the apple of his eye. Next. Keep moving. Okay, it's already so the idea, you see, Michelangelo was another painter. This guy was famous because he had painted the Sistine Chapel. Didn't get caught. Actually, they paid him to do it. Painting and so, you know, he was giving birth to that. All these are all classics. In fact, tell me, Stephanie, do you recognize who that is?
Tweety Bird.
Tweety Bird, you got it exactly right, exactly. You know, most people, particularly, it seems like young people don't know who Tweety Bird is anymore. That's why I'm trying to keep the classics alive. If I ask younger people, you know, SpongeBob SquarePants, yes, but, you know, Tweety Bird, no. You know, that's why I'm trying to keep them alive, you know, represent. So, but the idea is that Tweety, you see, all these have to be classics, as I said, but one of them is a forgery. You might not have noticed it the first time around, so I'll go a little bit slower, and maybe you might notice the forgery this next time around. That's a forgery. But the reason they knew it was a forgery, then, Alice, is not because of the card that she was holding in her hand. No, it's because whenever they took the painting down off the wall, on the back of the canvas, there happened to be a picture, you see, of the back, supposedly, of Mona Lisa's head, and the view she was seeing as she was being painted. However, that's the back of the canvas. Just like to see the back of the canvas there. Turn it over to see the face of the canvas. What have you got there?
I don't know.
Let's take a look.
You're not gonna tell me?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see the back of the canvas. What do you got? Okay, so that looks like a Queen of Hearts that you got, and that's it. See if you turn that around, that's the face of the canvas. You see right there. Look kind of like the...
Queen of Hearts, all right. Yeah, well done.
Thank you. All right, well, I'll tell you what, let's try something else. Because, again, I am a card-carrying magician, so I carried a few cards over here. And I will have you think of a playing card. Just think of any card, except for the 5 of spades. Okay? Got one in mind? Take this deck of cards, fan through the cards, and Allison, find your card, take it out, do not let me see it, take your card, and you can sit on it, put it in your pocket, whatever, but don't let me see the card, okay? Okay, now let me explain. Playing cards are a lot like a calendar. If you stop and think about it, there are 52 cards in a deck, there are 52 weeks in a year, there are 4 seasons, there are 4 suits, 13 cards in a suit, 13 weeks in a season. And if you add up all the pips on the cards, like there are 3, there's an ace, there's 3, 4, 5, you know, and if you add up all the pips, including on the clothing of the court cards, there's 365, same number of days in a year. I know, this is educational as well as entertaining. See? You can learn something here tonight too. But the idea is, of course, that all these cards are a little bit different from one to another. In fact, they're a lot like human beings if you stop and think about it. You see that red and white, black and yellow, but pretty much you turn this around and the same from the back. But, different story. So the idea is but you have taken a child away from the family who's probably suffering pain and anxiety of separation. So I tell you what, we'll just kind of place the card back over here. If you would just place the card there. Very good. I'll continue to shuffle the deck. I say shuffle because I can't say shuffle. So this way it goes right in about like this. Excellent. Since you had selected a card, taken it out of the deck, I'm going to this screw coming this up. I want you to imagine for a moment that there is a ribbon that's attached to the ceiling, and attached to that ribbon happen to be 52 numbers. Not cards, just 52 numbers. You understand? Excellent. I want you to reach up, I want you to grab a number off of that ribbon, something that's going to be a high number, something between 10 and 30. Just go ahead and reach up and grab any number off there between 10 and 30. Go ahead and, yeah. Good imagination.
Yeah.
This will get drink of it. What number do you got there, Stephanie?
15.
15, good number. Okay, watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me kind of recap what's going on over here, so this way you guys get the idea. A while ago I asked you just to think of a card. I asked you also to take a card out. I asked you to reach up, take any number, just pick a number out of thin air, pick out the number 15. Don't know your card yet, but you had this hopefully not going to be one of these so far.
Nope.
We got like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and there's a 15th card. So, you took a new card in your mind, you removed it from the deck, you picked the number out of thin air, the number 15. What was the card you took out of the deck?
2 diamonds.
2 of diamonds. The 15th card is the 2 of diamonds.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's a good thing that you selected 15 because it's 16, so it could have been completely different. Maybe you should buy a lottery ticket. It could be a good day for that, you know, there. But, you know, I tell you what, let's do something else that has nothing to do with cards at all, but we're going to go back in history then just a little bit into something that was used by the Chinese a very, very long time ago. In fact, these were Chinese coins, and if you can read perfect Mandarin Chinese, I'm getting very sleepy, very sleepy. Sorry, sir, it never works. Sorry. Anyhow, if you read perfect Mandarin Chinese, on one side says, eat at Tokyo Han, Houston's, I don't know. Anyhow, you see that there are holes inside of these Chinese coins, and the reason is because they used to wear them around their neck. You know, I lay awake thinking about weird things like, why is abbreviated such a long word? You know, different kinds of strange things. But the idea is that the reason that they had holes, I understand, is because, again, that they didn't have pockets whenever they were working the rice field. So they'd wear the money around their neck. That makes sense, doesn't it? That's what I thought when I made it up. I really don't know, but it seems to make sense. But the idea is it can only come off the ribbon off of one side or the other, just like that. Or it can come off the middle as if by magic. Open your hand there, Stephanie. I'll show you what exactly I'm talking about. It should start to melt. Ooh, ah.
What?
Yeah. Oh, same stunned silence. You see this all, no big deal. Okay, let's try you over here now. You'll just hold on to those two. Pinch those right there. Hold on. See? See, watch her reaction. And you like that. That's okay. Have another drink. If you would, make sure that there's no magnets, tape, trapdoors, dead animals, abrasion, small children, anything like that, so that way it's all safe. Okay, place it back over here in my pad. Okay. 1, 2 plus 1 more makes how many?
3.
Texas A&M? Hey, both my boys went there, you know. 7 years each. I should call them doctor, actually. I think I want to. Allison, if you please, I want you to hang on to these two. Make a tight fist. Turn your hand over.
Yes.
Just like this. I'm going to place this one remaining coin on the back of your hand like this. Now remember this beautiful picture, and the coin too. That on here, you see, there's a coin on top of your wrist, 2 inside. We're going to see if we can make it pass all the way through, and you're going to get a help. It's going to go through her hand invisibly and painlessly, meaning you won't see it or feel it. Hold on to the ribbon right there. My second finger. There you go. Turn your hand over and open. Oh, wow, like that. That's right there. All three. That's all it does right there. All right, well, I tell you, perhaps that it's hard to keep up with that, so Stephanie, I'm going to let you assist me with this one other thing. So these actually were the progenitor of something that carpenters use all the time then now, and I got that right over here in my pocket. Tell me, you know what these are?
Oh, washers.
Washers, exactly right. Sir, do you know what's inside of a washer? Laundry, dirty clothes. I see who does the work around the house. It's not you. Okay. Stephanie, if you'll open your hand there, please. I want hold on to this washer. Make a fist, turn your hand over like this. I'm going to place this washer in the back of your head now. Allison, look closely. You see, I was kind of fooling with her a minute. It's the whole that gives it value. Stop and think about it. It's the nothing that's worth something. If it wasn't for the nothing, it wouldn't be worth something. It's a paradox. It's a paradox. Not two doctors walking down the street. Different kind of paradox. This, you see, is a paradox, meaning it's unusual, strange. In other words, if you take the nothing out of this, you then have something that's just like a slug nickel, which has no value whatsoever, but the nothing has all the value in the world.
Oh.
You see, this nothing is worth something. The something is worth nothing. So I'm going to give you something, so never say I never gave you nothing, which is a triple negative, so maybe I gave you nothing. Turn your hand over and open, I'm confused.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that you got a whole lot of nothing over there. That means it's worthless. Worthless, completely worthless. Okay, one last thing and I'll let you guys talk about this for the rest of your lives. It's just going to sit right there. Then let me ask you, sir. Stay seated, it's a small part. Tell me, of the Three Stooges, who's your favorite of the Three Stooges?
Curly.
Curly, very good. And then, sir, what month of the year were you born?
November.
November. Very good. And you do know one card from the other, I guess, over here, don't you?
I'm trying, yeah.
But you're trying. Yes, you are. But I want you to notice all these cards are all different. Again, one from the other. In other words, they don't care at all about each other. They're very indifferent towards each other.
Correct.
So I am going to have you select a card. I'm going to give it a cut. Just say stop at some point. Have you select a card?
Stop.
Or about there. Perfect. Would you please take the card? Don't show anybody else, but you can take a look at it, knowing that it had a complete and free selection of any of the rest of the cards. However, you had selected just the one over there now. So you're watching this. There's usually a joker in every group of cards. And so I've got one over here then as well.
Okay.
So inside should be a couple of jokers. Someplace there's one. Let's see if I can find one over here. In fact, I've got some writing on the back of this. Don't show anybody else, but let me kind of recap. You said, who are the Three Stooges?
Curly.
And you were born the month of?
November.
Perfect. And you got a playing card. Don't tell us what it is. What's the first word on the top of the card say?
Curly.
Wow, 1 out of 3. Kind of like it. What's the second thing say?
It's November.
Now I'm getting goosebumps. That's amazing. Okay, that's fine. What's the rest of the information say?
2 parts.
What card have you got?
2
Holy! Well, you guys have been a wonderful audience. I've enjoyed having you. I hope you've enjoyed being had. And so, again, my name is Scott Wells. Thank you very much, guys.
Well done,
Hey,
Scott.
Scott.